Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 298. It is Monday here in Cincinnati. It's beautiful. The sun is just pouring in the windows and the sky is blue. It's definitely chilly outside, but it is a gorgeous day. We have entered November. It is the first Monday in November. We have 2 months to go until the end of this amazing year of 2019. And then we move into 2020. Which I don't know about you, but for me, just hearing the number 2020, I remember like space age movies in the long distance future in the year 2020. There must have been a movie with that title, but it always has made me think of some far out future place, and yet it's 2 months away. We're about to enter the decades that have 202 at the beginning, which it's a little mind-blowing. And what I have really been becoming aware of over the last week or two is how powerful that transition is going to be from 2019 into 2020, and the amount of energy and momentum that is available to carry us over into that new decade. There is such strong momentum willing to help us really step into this next time period to manifest amazing new things. And it may sound like I am talking very woo-woo and futuristic, but it is a real feeling. And it keeps coming up in my meditation time, in my podcasts, in my Sunday meditation that we just had yesterday. It's a powerful threshold, and I don't want to underestimate that or ignore it as we make our way towards the end of the year. So why do I bring it up today? What's the first Monday of November, the first day of the 2 months that we have left? And awareness is always the doorway to being very conscious of what we are creating, being very aware of the choices and next steps and decisions that are carrying us on our path. So, yeah, there's a lot to share. There's so much to share that this is actually recording number 2. I had recording number 1 done, and somehow it disappeared. So I am sitting here again, tuning into what is the refined message that wants to be shared in this moment. Yeah, and I feel like the example of how I'm navigating it is always helpful, because it's just my story, and then it informs your story, and then your story can inform someone else's story. And so we're all sharing our lives and our stories, and in that we're learning from each other. So I'll share my story. It goes all the way back to this morning. I went for my run this morning, bundled up because it was so cold outside, and just enjoying the fresh air and the sunshine and all the activity in the neighborhood. Someone was getting a roof replaced, and people were waiting at the school bus stops, and there's a lot going on. I was just really enjoying moving through the morning. And towards the end of my run, I was having this mind thing that happens to me as the morning is settling, where I'm like, what am I going to talk about on the podcast? That's the next thing on the agenda. I wonder what the title is. So as I'm running and thinking about all the options for titles, what I heard very clearly is let it go. Like the title will present itself and you don't have to manage or control everything. So I did. I listened to my music, ran a little more. I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see what it is. And also it'll present itself. And suddenly I'm running and I see this mailbox on the right side of the road standing up, and I look down at the road as I'm running, and there's this shadow from the mailbox that literally looks like a thumbs up, upside down, but a thumbs up. I guess you could say it was a thumbs down, but I took it as a thumbs up. And I looked at it, and then I looked at the sun, I looked at the mailbox. I'm like, are you giving me a thumbs up? Is that what this is? Which maybe to you that line of thinking feels irrational. To me, it made perfect sense. I had been asking for a title of a podcast, and there it was, thumbs up. And I heard the word thumbs up in my head as I saw this image on the ground. I was like, oh yeah, thumbs up. That's great. What a great fun topic that will be. And we'll look at all the signs and how signs present themselves. And it'll be great. I'm so excited. And so the rest of the way I'm running home thinking about all the signs that I've been seeing over the last week and how I can share all these signs. How great it's going to be. Get home, get myself cleaned up, do the podcast, sit down to record this awesome podcast. 22 minutes of magic. So excited. And then somehow as I go to save it, it disappears. It just disappears. So I'm sitting here going, no. It was about signs. Why would the sign be that I don't need this podcast? No, this is not the right sign. And the whole time in the back of my head, I'm hearing thumbs up. Thumbs up. Everything's great. Thumbs up. And I'm like, no, I used the time wisely. I'm about to leave for my lunch. Like, no, it can't disappear. It was so good. So funny. So my first thought immediately was, I'm going to blame it on Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde screwed with me. My podcast is gone. It's the computer system. It's the planets aligning with the computers. It's something else. It's not me. Guess what my podcast had been about? Not looking outside of yourself for responsibility. Not being the victim. That when something happens, you own that you created it. My guides are just having a field day today. They're like, thumbs up. She got the message. Thumbs up. Way to go. Oh, God. I know I'm not the only one who cracks up when magical things happen and you're actually able to get it and laugh at yourself because it took you so long to get it. That's where I am right now. Humbled by my guides. Oh, so funny. So it disappeared. And then I was angry. And then I was sad. And then I was frustrated. And then I was late because I knew I had to leave. So, funny stuff. Anyway, as I was contemplating the situation on the way to the restaurant and contemplating it on the way back, what I came to is this is an ego check. This is a reminder for me that some of the things I think are so great to share are not necessarily the vibration that needs to be shared. Which brings me to the next realization, which I share all the time in here, but sometimes I need to be reminded of it. This is not my show. Period. Exclamation mark. Highlighted. This is not my show. This is a vibration of truth and energy and love that I am simply flowing through this human body I know as Vivienne. And the love that comes through, it is a higher vibration than what I am able to hold all the time in my physical body. And so I may think that I'm doing it great, and my ego may tell me it's fantastic, and yet that may not be the vibration that is actually necessary at this time. And so I am still always being schooled, being taught, being reminded to sit my butt back down and tune in again. And allow whatever truth is supposed to be coming through to just flow through. So I sat back down after I got home from lunch and cleared some energy and grounded in and relaxed my muscles and let go of all the worry, knowing what I had also said in the earlier podcast about everything is always in divine time. Everything is always in a higher alignment. There's a bigger plan than what we know of. That was for me. All of that was for me. The funniest thing as I share this is I record that clearing because it just gets me into the energy of recording my voice. And so I finished the recording of this clearing energy just a few minutes ago. And I went to go to my settings to turn my phone on airplane mode, because whenever I record the podcast, I just cut off all external communication. So it's just my phone and the energy in me. And right as I'm going to do that, this alert from YouTube pops up. I don't have the exact title, but it said something to the effect of, "And you just need to surrender everything and let it all go." I literally just started cracking up. Like, okay, exclamation mark. I now received the message. Oh, so hysterical. I hope you're finding this as amusing as I am. So here I am recording this podcast titled Thumbs Up. And what feels important to share, besides all of that ability to laugh at myself and not take myself as seriously as I think I need to, is just a reminder. It's a reminder that we choose how we move through this human journey. Always. And when we choose from the mind and we want to control and we want to follow a schedule and we want to check things off the list and we want to make sure we tell how awesome we are, our soul is going to bring us back into alignment very, very quickly. And our soul will show us the possibilities, the fastest ways to get to where we want to be. The shortcuts through all the bullshit. Our soul just goes right to where we need to be. And then it's up to us to pay attention and not fall into fear or start projecting and create this whole victim story. Is Mercury in retrograde? Absolutely. And why does that impact me, or how does it impact me? I could say, poor me, my podcast recording is gone. Or I could say, thank you, Mercury, for apparently deleting something that was not of my highest vibration. There was something more still to be learned. And so you slowed me down so that I could learn that lesson. And because I'm present, because I'm always, as much as I'm able to be aware of it, asking why. What does this mean? How do I learn from this? What is the lesson? How are you guiding me? Because I'm always asking that of my soul, I get the answers very clearly and pretty quickly. And if I don't, this podcast recording will be deleted also. And I'll have to come back again and do it again. And maybe that's what will happen. I don't know. If that is the case, like the third time is going to be short and sweet. There will be no rambling. You'll just get 2 lines of a mantra. Oh God. I love that my guides have a sense of humor and that I'm able to meet them there, because man, life would be intense if I was just frustrated by it all the time, or fighting and resisting, because they teach me a lot. My soul, it schools me all the time and it brings me back into alignment. So when I can choose to do that with joy, it's just so much more fun. I mean, there's still times I want to lay on the floor and kick and scream and have a little temper tantrum, but they're fewer and far between, and they used to be way more frequent. Oh, goodness. Okay. The other nugget that I that I shared earlier, which we'll see if I'm supposed to share it again. I was describing how the momentum that's available to us here as we begin November and flow through the last 2 months of this year towards 2020. The momentum that's available can come up underneath our feet and lift us up, elevate us up to be able to see things from a different perspective. Or it can come up underneath our feet and we're spinning and running and trying to get away from it or trying to master it or trying to control it or trying, and we'll trip and fall. And when we fall into the momentum like that, instead of being able to stand and allow it to elevate us, it's going to feel like we're swimming through high tide or fighting against some current that's we're resisting the current that wants to carry us. It's going to feel very exhausting and defeating and difficult. And so I described the possibilities, the 2 ways we can flow through the end of this year. I tuned in and described them in yesterday's Sunday meditation, which really is an energy channel, just like this call right now, this podcast times 20 million. It's just a whole different way to play with energy and visualization and feel held as you're doing it. And so yesterday in this 1-hour call, I guided the group through this process of exploring how to prepare yourself for the momentum, what to do with your body and your mind to bring them into alignment, so that when that momentum scoops us up, we can stand really tall and we can be lifted up, and then we can see our lives from a whole different vantage point. And we can look at the next 2 months and then into 2020 and be really clear about which direction do we want our time and our focus and our attention to go. Which way are we going to guide ourselves forward? And how do we know when we're on the right path? How do we see and feel the signs and then align with them coming more frequently and more powerfully, more clearly? So that pretty soon we're just riding the wave of our own creation. So it was a beautiful experience, one of my favorites, and I was sharing that earlier in the podcast, but perhaps not from as clear a space. So if you're looking for guidance, and what feels like it would serve you is to be able to narrow your focus to harness all of this momentum and direct it exactly at what you're most wanting to do, to create, to become through the end of this year and into next year. The recording link, you can exchange for it. It's $11, 11 times a billion in value. But it's available for you, and you can claim an hour and spend that time with your soul and tune in. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And then here we are, Monday, starting this new week, still being schooled, still being taught. And yet really clear. I'm so clear that the rest of this year for me is about relationships and connection and time with the people I love most in the world, and cocooning in and just feeling the richness of the life that I've created and how abundant it is, how much love I've allowed into my daily experience, and then just allowing even more of that in. So as you tune in for yourself, what is it that you're wanting to experience yourself over the next 2 months? Trust that your guides are going to be bringing you all the signs, and they'll be giving you thumbs up after thumbs up. And when you're paying attention to it and you're noticing those thumbs up and then asking your guides for more of them, it's going to be so fun. It's going to be so much fun. And yeah, Mercury retrograde could bring you to your ass, and then you're going to be sitting like me, regrouping. And also, like, what if we laugh at ourselves as we do it, you know? It's just going to make it that much better of an adventure. So, take two. We'll see if this works. If not, I'll be back for take three. Have an awesome day, friends. Thank you for tuning in to this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me on Sunday mornings for an hour of meditation, visualization, and energy healing, where we realign our mind, body, spirit with Gaia and Source. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.